Let's check out what 6.5 has for us. Okay. Obviously, some people are watching this for the first time, so they do need to take a look at the cover page of the exercise of the textbook we're working with. Okay. This time around, it seems like we have a different situation in a way that the parameters, right? Our method has 3 parameters of type double. Unlike before, we used to have only one parameter, right? And we only have been working with the Boolean data type and an integer data type. This time around, we're working with doubles. Okay. Let's read the problem. Write a method with the following header to display 3 numbers in increasing order. Okay. You know what? Let me copy and paste that. It's gonna be pretty hard. It's gonna be annoying. It's gonna be pretty annoying to write the whole thing from scratch. You know what? For the sake of visibility, I'll put that on the next line. As you can see, I've already created my program to retrieve the 3 numbers. Okay. So the next thing for me to do, did they tell us to display those numbers or return them? Or obviously we've got to display them. No ways we can return 3 numbers. Okay. Write a test program that prompts the user to enter 3 numbers and invokes the method to display them in increasing order. Okay. Okay, I'll simply go num1, num2, then finally number 3 without that 1 there. Okay. Okay, now let's get to the core of this exercise. Seems like we'll be playing around with conditional statements here. Okay, if num1 is less than num2, if this is the case, okay, I'll check if num1 is less than num3. Again, if this is the case, then we know that num1 has to be the first. System.out.print num1. Okay, what we then do, we'll check. Before we do that, we'll leave a space. We will now check. If num. I'm used to writing the whole name. If num2 is less than num3, then we know that damn mosquitoes. Then we know that num2 has to follow, and then finally num3. Okay. Oh, I forgot M there. So number number 1 is our number 1. Now I'm checking if number 2 is less than number 3. If that is the case, then we know we've got to display number 2 and then concatenate that with a tab. Then finally wait, it seems like I made a mistake. If num1 is less than num2, I display number 2 and the tab. It's gonna be number 2 and the tab, then finally number 3, right? Of course, num 3. Okay, otherwise it's gonna be a tab. It's gonna be number 3 being concatenated with number 2. So I changed that from 3 to 2. Okay, I don't know if people are clear what's going on here. But if you're confused, feel free to let me know. I'll explain each and everything, or you can pause the video. These are conditional statements, folks, so there's absolutely no need for me to spend much time trying to explain what's going on here. And if you want me to, you might as well go back to my tutorials on selections. I've got a ton of solutions. In fact, I've answered all problems on selection. Okay, so else, oops, not that else. I don't want to take care of that, at least not for now. So else, I'll simply go system.out.print. Okay, now I know that number 3 is my number 1. Number 3 is my number 1, followed by /c. We know that number 1 is less than number 2, so it has to be followed by number 1, and then finally number 2. Why do I keep missing that M? Now we wanna put else if number 2 is less than number 1. If that is the case, what are we gonna do? I'll check if number 2 is less than num3. It's more or less like that part over there. In fact, you know what, let me copy and then paste it. However, this time around I will use different variables. So I'll simply display number 2. So number 2 is less than number 1 and number 2 is less than number 3. So we're going to start by displaying number 2. Now we want to check between number 1 and number 3, which one is smaller. So if this is the case, I'll simply display 1, leave a space, and then display 3. Otherwise, okay, I'll display 3, leave a space, then display 1. Okay, else again it's more or less like that part over there. I'm trying to minimize time here, folks. I don't know though, by doing this I might perhaps be creating confusion. Okay, so I'll display 3, 2 and then 1. Okay, 3, 2 and then 1. Oh gosh. There's an else part though over here. Okay, so we know that N2 is less than N1, but N2 is not less than N3. What do we do in that case? Okay, so what do we want to do in that case? We'll simply check if number 2 is less than these guys are making noise. Oh, yeah. The brother of mine was making noise there, so that created a little bit of confusion to me. Okay. Oh, we're done with this part. No wonder. Damn. We're done with that part over there. Okay. So now, it seems like the two are equal, number 1 and number 2. It seems like the two are equal, number 1 and number 2, because number 2 is not less than number 1 and the number 1 is not less than number 2. It seems like they are equal, so this is our else part. So it seems like the two are equal. If they are equal, what I want to do, I want to check if num2 is less than num3. And if this is the case, then we know that we've got 1, 2. It doesn't matter the order of 1 and 2 because they are equal. So which means we've got 1, 2 and then lastly 3. Or we can put 2, 1 and then lastly 3. Then put 1, 2 and then lastly 3. Otherwise, I can put 3, 2 and then lastly 1, or 3, 1 and then lastly 2. 1, I mean this is one and the same thing. Okay. Ooh, that should be pretty much it, folks. It has been a long freaking long exercise. I know. So now let's try to display these numbers. Let me try 10, 40, and what? And let's try 5, 10, 40. Seems like we're good. they are in increasing order. Let's try something that is already 1.5 to 3.5. It has to stay like that. That should be it for this tutorial, you guys. Again, I don't see the point of giving out another solution on this exercise. Why? In fact, I'll only be giving one solution to each and every one of the subsequent exercises on methods. Of course, there are gonna be exceptions, but to most of exercises, I'll only give out only one solution. Cheers, you guys. See you on the next solution.